and welcome. I am the Sterling, and today we are playing Going Medieval. In the last episode, we cleared out a big chunk of buildings in the old district, and we built them in the new area, making room ready to build the new front entrance. And guess what? In this episode, that's exactly what we're going to do. So sit back, grab a cold one, and let's get started. Right, so as you know, we're waiting to get clay so we can build the Oak Brethren Temple. And I've been very unsuccessful at actually obtaining clay or anything clay-based from the merchants. Now, a few people in the comments have actually said that I should hunt around near the rivers and things like that for clay. But this being a mountain map doesn't actually produce clay. So doesn't matter how much I hunt our map for clay, we're not going to find any. But I have done a little research and merchants do sell clay. Because truth be told, I don't want to have to actually send a caravan to another settlement to try and collect clay because it's just too much of a pain in the butt. But in saying that, if time passes and I still am unsuccessful at collecting clay, well then my hands will be tied and I will have to actually consider sending a caravan. I just really don't want to. But waiting for a merchant isn't the end of the world, as we're still waiting on more statues. Which, as you can see, we haven't built any more since the last episode because it's still autumn of 1382. We've picked up straight after the last episode. Now, the new update hasn't released yet, so we still don't have rally points and we still do not have drawbridges. But I have been reading there's a whole bunch of more exciting things that will be coming in this update. So more and more this update is teasing me. But that's not going to stop me starting to build this front entrance. As I've mentioned in the past, there is actually two designs to this front entrance. One with a drawbridge and one without. So I figure I'll build the entrance that doesn't have the drawbridge, and then I can always go back and add the drawbridge later. Because you just know I love adding more work for myself. Now the keen eye has noticed that there's still two more buildings in the old area. The hospital and the furnace. For the design at the moment, these are not in the way. Because the way the front entrance is going to look is we're going to have a big wall across the front here, which would contain a drawbridge about here. But for the moment it won't. And then there'll be ladders up here to get into the actual front entrance. This whole area here will be a big swimming pool. Now, why a big swimming pool, you ask? Because the enemy cannot fire arrows back whilst they're swimming. So the whole concept is the enemy comes down here through this door and out into a big swimming pool where they have to swim for quite a long time, getting pummeled with arrows. And then the ones that do actually survive the swim still have to climb a ladder to get to the front door whilst being pummeled with arrows and cannot fire back while they're on the ladder. Then they have to actually break down a door before coming across a bridge to another door whilst being pummeled with arrows. Then they have to break through this door and then they're on the other side. It's crazy. They're going to be butchered. And in R&D, I've tested it and it is slaughter. Nobody gets through. And so over here, these two buildings, as I said, are not in the way. They will be later on and we'll be able to move them from here into the new area because in this area here, I actually want to build a bit of a fort. A second line of defense, just in case something goes wrong and they do actually get through the front entrance. But right now, it's not dire. But there is a bit of a glitch to this design. For some odd reason, once I do build this new front entrance, the enemy will be able to stand up above here and about here and be able to shoot through the ground and hit our settlers on the front entrance. So I will have to do a few modifications to actually make sure that this cannot take place. Also, as I've mentioned, this new front entrance is going to be huge. It's actually going to take up all this space here and it's going to branch out over here. So I'm going to need to push this wall out. There is an awful lot of earthwork that needs to take place. But before we go ahead and start work on all this, because it's going to be a big episode, and I highly doubt I'm going to get it all done this episode, there's something else I want to do first. I get a hell of a lot of dubious booze that turns into vinegar. And as I mentioned in the last episode, I just sell it off. I just keep trying to get rid of it, get it out of my cellars. Someone in the comments mentioned I can use the distillery and actually turn it into something useful. So I'm going to give that a try. But first I have to come up here to the research tab, come across to distilling, which will unlock the spirit distillery. It's going to cost 30 chronicles, 15 textbooks, and 15 thesis. We're going to unlock that now. Done. Now, as for the research tab, as you can see, we've unlocked nearly everything at this point. There's still a couple of things that I will in the future unlock, such as the last level of furniture, which will give us the royal bed that I want to stick, obviously, in the royal bedrooms. There's also the oil press, which I'm sure I'll be able to find a use for, as it actually gives us the ability to create flammable oil, which I can then shoot and set alight. The only downside of that is you need a bow to do it. Doesn't work with a crossbow. And we don't use bows. And finally, chemistry, where we'd be able to build Greek fire. Once again, I'd be able to litter this swimming pool with Greek fire, shoot it, set it alight, and actually light the water in our front entrance on fire, which would be a lot of fun. So once again, no bow, no go. I still have siege engines to unlock, but I'm not going to be doing them, as I actually don't really have a use for them, and in past experience using them, they're more trouble than they're worth. The time it takes them to load and all that jazz, crossbows are just quicker. So now I think it's time to go in and knock down our original defensive structures and get ready to start building the new front entrance. Day 7 of autumn 1382. And there we go, I've cleaned up the area, ready to start building the new front entrance. But before I go and do that, let's come over here to the brewery, as I've built the distillery. Now, as per every other production, you have to set it up. So we'll click on alcohol, and I'm going to set it for forever. But I'm going to come into edit and come down and unselect everything other than dubious booze. So we're not going to turn ale into alcohol. We're not going to turn rough wine into alcohol. We're not going to turn cider into alcohol. And we're not going to turn mead into alcohol. We're only going to be turning dubious booze. And now I'll just have to work out what on earth I'm going to do with all the alcohol we're going to be producing. But that's future Sterling's problem. Now, in the short time it took to deconstruct the front entrance, I haven't had any merchants arrive. So I still yet haven't got clay. But I'll keep you updated on that. For now, it's actually time to start planning out the new front entrance. So the beginning of the front entrance is going to be over here. And it's going to be 10 limestone blocks across, just like so. Then off this pillar here, we have 3 limestone blocks. We then have to add 2 soil and then 2 more limestone blocks. And then it just starts stepping down. We have 2, 1, another 2, and then 1, 1, 1, and 1. And now we start going back the other way. 2, 1, 2, 2, and then finally 4 and 4. And that's the front wall. Now, obviously, it's also going to wrap exactly the same on the other side. Hence, we actually have to push this wall out. But I'm just going to concentrate on this side first. We also need to go ahead and actually fill in this area here with soil, just like so. Now, there will actually be a wall that runs behind this wall 3 blocks back, which is quite straightforward. I just have to run it like so, copying the wall in front. And now I just have to step it up. The back wall will go right up to the ceiling, where the front wall will only go up several levels high. But I'm not going to do the back wall just yet, as there's quite a lot of earthwork that I'm going to need to do over in this area. Now, as for the front gate itself, it's going to be a portcullis, which will go right here. And then I just have to build up around it. And basically, that's the main layout for the front entrance wall. Now, there's just going to be 4 limestone steps that steps down to this level here. But the tricky bit is actually engineering how they get up onto the wall, or remembering how on earth I actually planned it out. But essentially, it's just going to be a staircase that runs up here. Now, after quite a bit of mucking about, I'm left with this. I know it's a bit hard to see when it's all orange, but we'll try and make do. And the back wall runs all the way to the roof. This new front entrance will actually close off this section here to this section here. And before you go and panic, the water can still traverse underneath this structure here. This structure is a stairwell. The settlers will enter via this door here, go up this set of stairs, go up 2 more flights of stairs before walking through this corridor here, which connects to the other set of stairs, and then they pop out a sneaky little door that's behind this pillar at the front. Now, I've begun doing the back wall to the roof, but in some sections, such as where it meets the limestone block arches, I haven't installed it all the way to the roof. If I were to put a block in front of an arch, then it will actually directly connect to that block. So it's not like I need to destroy an arch to actually be able to build it. I haven't done it as yet, just in case I need to modify or change something around, because once I build a block through an arch, there's no coming back from it. So I want to make sure 100% that that is where I want that block. But in saying that, I have done it here where the roof is extremely low, as I do actually want want that part of the wall to start taking the load of the soil above, because I'm planning to actually dig all this soil out here and open it up the same as the rest of this entrance here, which honestly, I don't know how we're going to go keeping the actual facade at the front, because my original design in R&D didn't involve actually digging out that section. And so I don't know if this is going to collapse or a portion of it will collapse. But if it does, it's not the end of the world. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Now I just have to go ahead and run limestone block floors across the top of the wall, and then we just have to run Merlons in front of the wall. So I think I've given them enough to do, so let's hit play and let them get to work. Day 7 of winter, 1382. And there's a big chunk of the front entrance wall complete. And may I add, that was the easy part, as the rest of this is actually going to be quite difficult, especially when I start pushing the wall out over here. The part that I'm actually going to need to start doing now is digging in and removing a lot of the soil from over here. Essentially, I want the roof to be about this height here. So this is all going to have to go. And so when it comes to the stability of the actual mountain itself, not quite sure how well we're going to go. We might lose a big chunk, but then it's not the end of the world. I can always rebuild. I've got my heart set on doing it this way, so it's just going to need to be done. Now, ignore the fact that one of our settlers is rebellious. During the cold snap, he struggled to get warm for most of it, and now, because of this, he's having a bit of a hissy fit. But that's fine. He'll be all right. As you can see down here, he's actually quite happy due to a lot of things that he's partaken in recently, so he won't be rebellious for very long. And there's definitely no fear of him leaving the settlement. So how exactly am I going to dig out this ceiling? Well, I'm going to do it from above. And the way I think I'm going to actually do this is I'm going to start digging down wherever these pillars line up with the actual wall, and then build limestone bricks on top of it. So there'll be a couple over here and then a couple over here somewhere. Then one by one, I'm going to dig out channels. Then I can fit limestone block archways connecting from this pillar to the limestone essential pillars that I'm building on top of the wall, which will then give us stability on top that I can then build on. And then once I've done that, I can just go through and start digging out all of this soil here before then raising the wall up to meet the new level of soil that we've built. I know, the way I said it, it sounds quite difficult. The concept is simple. It's just how much destruction is it going to cause is the real question. So now I am hesitant to do this. I really am, but I have to. So it's time to hit play and let them get to work digging out this section of the roof. Day 7 of spring 1383, and we have completed, to my surprise, with no cave-ins, the extension of the roof of the main part of the entrance. And I don't mind this little wing that I've done off the side. Let's be honest, could have been better, but I think it's quite fitting. Now I just have to go ahead, collect all the soil and the limestone bricks, delete these stairs that I built out of the farm area, and then that's this side complete. And how have we got inside? We have significantly more room now. That looks so much better all all opened up the way it is. And honestly, I can't express enough how surprised I am that we didn't have any major cave-ins. I genuinely was expecting that big corner of the front entrance to collapse, and it never did. Though I did take my time doing it, which was a good thing. Though, as I said before, the hard stuff is still to come. Yes, I considered this side was going to be difficult to do, but this side here is the real challenge. But I'm sure I'll be able to work it out. And so with this side complete, we're now ready to do this side, to build the new entrance to the prison tower, and then start digging out the pull down stairs. Unfortunately though, this will all have to wait for the next episode, as this is all the time we have for today. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.